welcome to the More Than Roommates podcast. I'm Dan here with my roommate Graham. This is episode 2. So if you watch episode 1, thank you for sticking around for episode 2. So Graham, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How about you?
Good. You're going full leather mode, got the turtleneck.
Yeah,
You feeling it?
it's cold out again, so kind of cold down here. Figured why not dress up a little bit.
Yeah, we have been keeping the house at a much cooler temperature than normal. But
We were trying to hack into the dog to see if she would maybe sleep through the night.
yes, we were
Thinking it was just too hot in the bedroom.
Yeah. So we recently got a Google thermostat, and it's one of those nests that
The learning.
it learns the temperatures and it's supposed to be eco-friendly. And in the middle of the night, it was just bumping up our heat. And so Pepper, if you can see her in the corner, she likes to sleep under the covers, and she was getting overheated. And then every night for about 2 months, she would wake up at like 3 or 2 in the morning, and I'd have to take her out. So we kind of figured out that solution. If we keep the house cooler, she stays in bed longer. She doesn't want to get out from under the covers. So then I get a full night's sleep, which is ideal.
Yeah. I'm very grouchy if I don't get enough sleep or if my sleep is disturbed.
Yes, we've arranged a good system. Graham takes her out before bed because at night I am no good. Like, I would rather do anything. Like, when I'm tired, I want to go immediately to bed. So he takes her out the last shift, and then in the morning or in the middle of the night, if she ever has to go out, I'd rather get up in the middle of the night than take her out at like 10 at night. I don't know why that doesn't make sense in my head. But speaking of Pepper, that is the topic of today's episode, if you haven't gotten that by the title. But Pepper over here is our dog. She, like many millennials, she is our child. We adore her and probably care too much about her, but
I think we talked a little bit about her in our last episode.
yeah. So
Did we ever really get into her, kind of how you found her?
I don't think so.
What happened to her?
No.
She's got a really good story. It's really sad.
Yeah, but we're going to just do all thing dog today. But so Pepper, I adopted her in 2018. I had just graduated college, and I had always wanted a beagle. And all through college, I would look up to see if there was ever a beagle at the shelter. And my parents were like, you better wait till you're done with school. So as soon as I graduated, I already had my first job. And I was looking on the website, and there she was at 3 months old. She was a beagle and a puppy, and I could adopt her. So I was like, oh, that checks all the boxes. So I immediately went to go see her, and she was so skittish. She was frightened. They put us in a room, and I just kind of sat there. She didn't want to come near me. The workers there kind of plopped her in my lap, and she just kind of froze. But I instantly was like, she will be mine. And so it ended up that the owners before her had abused her, and they had kicked her. So she had broken ribs. Her fur was all dried out. She had like a lot of skin issues. So I adopted her while I was still at my college house and took her home. And that was the start of our long journey together.
Yeah, and then it took a couple of years, but my journey with Pepper started with Dan. They came over to my house one time and then never left.
We've been mooching off here ever since.
Yeah, so Pepper, I felt so bad. She was terrified of me at first. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah. Well,
Really protective of you.
Going back to when I first got her, I brought her home, and she was terrified of all people. If I stood up, she would like cower in the corner and just shake, and I just felt awful. And my neighbors at the time had this old golden retriever. And when I took Pepper outside, she just lit up and just wanted to be around this golden retriever. So the owners were like, hey, if you want to bring her over ever and socialize her, you're more than welcome to. So that's what I did. Every day we just had some socialization time. The golden retriever was more putting up with Pepper because she was a puppy and this was an older dog, but it just brought her out of her shell. And so I just did more introductory with more animals, and I had never seen a more social dog. When it came to other animals, it didn't care. It didn't matter how big the dog was. She just wanted to be all over it. But people was not about that.
Yeah.
But slowly,
She really opened up, as soon as we were together. And then, shortly after the pandemic, I know we talked our last episode about how much I work from home. And I think her and I grew really close during that time. And just having a lot of friends over at the house, I really felt like it kind of took her to the next level with humans, too, because she's so affectionate and so loving.
yeah, and you get to bring her to work with you.
Yeah.
And she just loves everyone at the office, and she behaves well.
Great work.
I've always had dogs. I think I've had 3 dogs in my lifetime, and she is by far the most just naturally well-behaved dog. I trust her in all situations, and she's just amazing. And so when I adopted her, she was labeled as a mixed breed. She was a part beagle and part treeing walker coonhound, which I'll put a picture in. I had never heard of that breed before either. But if you look at a picture of Pepper and you look at a picture of that, you can see that. It's just like a really long-legged beagle.
Yeah. They look a little bit different, but they're both very, obviously from the hound family. So they are similar. I would say Pepper looks like she is like sized right in between the two breeds. Because if you look up a beagle and you look up the treeing walker coonhound, they're maybe even a little bit bigger than her. She's like right in between.
Yeah, so Pepper's around 40 pounds, so that's a big beagle, but also a small treeing walker coonhound.
Yeah.
And so we've started to like really look into that breed just because neither of us had heard about it, and we wanted to know more about Pepper's heritage. And so they can trace this breed back to one original dog, and it was specifically bred for hunting. It could tree animals. It would bark them up into a tree if they were hunting. And it was a really sought after dog. And the original dog, I think, was stolen.
Right?
Yeah, and then bred. And so that's where that breed comes from. And so we've been doing a lot of research about it. And then for Christmas this year, Graham got me a DNA test
for Pepper too.
Yeah. And so we did that, and we just got the results today. Neither of us have seen them. It's been really hard not to check, but we were going to check it here live on the podcast. So I will get into the email.
Oh, we forgot to tell them about the Snapchat filter too.
Oh, yeah.
So Snapchat, if you're aware, you can actually, do you actually take the picture, or do you hover over?
You just hover over their face to activate it.
Yeah, and it'll identify the dog breed. And I would say it was 50-50? Like, sometimes it would say beagle, and then sometimes it would say treeing walker coonhound. Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, I will be shocked if she has any chihuahua.
So this is going to seem like it's sponsored by Embark, but that was the thing that we used to test her DNA. And so it looks like they sent us a video. So we're going to watch that now. She says she is a perfect mix of 4 breeds.
4.
That's interesting. A perfect mix.
Weird. So that'd be like 2 and 2.
Beagle parents, beagle grandparents, beagle great
grandparents.
Okay, so one's Australian
cattle dog. Is
what?
Reggie?
And boxer?
What? Pepper boxer?
And basset hound, but they're not saying that treeing walker coonhound.
Wow.
No, that makes me sad.
That she literally has.
She's 9% basset hound.
Huh.
So that is crazy.
100% Pepper.
Wow.
I'm actually shocked. I don't know.
Me too.
Huh. That is interesting. Yeah, we'll have to show the picture again, but if you look at a picture of her and the treeing walker coonhound, her coloration and everything look the same to me.
See, I like that it does give you care resources for Pepper based off of her DNA. That is so cool. But wow, that kind of crushes me. I knew that I was gonna
Yeah. Wow. Pepper, we've been lying to people about what breed you are.
So I mean, obviously the beagle, that was the majority of what she is, but Australian cattle dog and boxer. What's crazy is if you Google beagle Treeing Walker Coonhound mix, her adoption photo pops up because that was what was listed. So
she's really cute too. You should look it up.
It's crazy. It doesn't say anything about the.
I mean, clearly we swapped her,
Yeah,
correctly. Otherwise,
it would have been inclusive.
Yeah.
There goes the dryer. That's so crazy.
Wow.
Oh wait, her family tree. Let's look at that. So her parents were a beagle mix and a beagle mix. Oh, so maybe the beagle mix was a Treeing Walker Coonhound. Oh, but it's a beagle mix.
The grandparents. So yeah, if you look down, it looks like she had Australian cattle dog in both her grandparents and great grandparents, and same with the boxer, right?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And so there's.
Oh, she had the Australian cattle dog on both sides.
That's interesting.
It's very interesting.
Wow. So I guess we could talk about some of what Pepper's descriptors are, what she's like as a dog. So she is a very lazy dog. That's for sure. She likes to cuddle. But she is very good at learning
tricks.
Yeah, you taught her
a bunch. Yeah. I think my favorite party trick I taught her is silent speak.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to cut in a clip of that.
Yeah, we'll put that in.
She is pretty funny when she does that.
Yeah, for sure.
But most recently we taught her how to bow, and she'll kind of hike her booty up in the air and put her head down and then her lower body.
And she doesn't like to swim. We've gotten her in the pool, but she has gone on lots of trips with us.
She loves the mountains.
Yeah, we took her
went to Colorado, yeah, and she was enthralled by the mountains the whole time, just looking out the window at the mountain range.
That was my first time taking a dog in a hotel. I was very nervous about it. I just thought the whole experience was going to be very stressful, but she did good. We got probably the worst hotel room I think I've ever been placed in. We got in room 1, which is right off
the lobby. It was,
they did it because so we could take her out and not have to do the elevator, which I appreciated, but we were right on the other side of the women's bathroom. So every time So every time someone flushed, we heard that. And then we were right across the hall from
the maintenance,
the break room.
Closet.
So all night long, people were going in and out, and it would freak her out, cause her to bark. So that was kind of nerve wracking, but
she didn't get us kicked out.
Yeah, that was all that mattered. So we went on lots of hikes with her, and we could talk about the crazy hike experience that we had when we were in Colorado.
Yeah.
So we've gone on 2-3 trips together.
Yeah.
And so this was our second big trip.
Yeah.
And it was the evening, one of the days, and we wanted to take her on a quick walk before the sunset. We were going to meet Graham's cousin for some drinks, and we wanted to get her some exercise. So we went hiking at this beautiful place called the
Garden of the Gods.
Yes.
Yeah, gorgeous. Colorado Springs.
We did it right before sunset, and as the sun was setting, we kept running into this woman who was walking around, and she finally stopped us and asked for help. She was lost, and I was like, "Oh, did you park by a
restroom?"
Yeah, outdoor restroom. She's like, "Yeah, I did." And so I was like, "Well, that's where we're heading. You can just walk with us. We'll go that direction together." And we got back right as the sun set, and she kind of froze, and she's like, "This isn't where I parked." And I was like, "Okay." I was like, "Well, you could ride with us, and we could drive you to your car." I was like, "I do understand, 2 guys, that could be." Right. I was like, "If you're not comfortable,
stranger danger."
Yeah. I was like, "If you're not comfortable with that, we could just walk with you to the next spot." She's like, "I would prefer if we walked." I'm like, "Understood." So we look at the map, and
luckily she had a map.
Yeah, but she had no clue where she had parked.
She kind of knew a rough location. She said she parked by the handicap restroom, so pretty easy to find on the map. But I will say one thing about the Garden of the Gods. It wasn't really well marked to like
It's
where you were at.
and it's just a bunch of figure eights. So
Yeah.
we determined there was like 4 places she could be. So we start walking, and now
Starting to get
it's dark.
dark. Yeah.
It's
Getting a little cold too.
And so we go to one spot, that wasn't it. We go to another, and now we are walking in the complete opposite direction of our car.
Yeah.
And
And we were walking downhill. Somehow got off the walking
yeah,
too. So
and it was
really dangerous.
it was getting really cold. Pepper didn't have a coat. She has obviously a short hair coat, and so she was getting cold, and I was like, your red flags are going up. It's like, okay, now I don't want to be lost.
Yeah.
And so we start. I mean, like, I have a long stride, and I was going pretty fast. So we were going really fast, and so she finally was like, "Can we like take a break and stop?" And now we had been walking for 2 hours, and I was like, I'd rather not stop." And like, 'cause
Yeah.
now there's no light. Our batteries are
Giant wildlife out there. You never know what you could run into. I want to say the only thing that gave me any comfort was we were at Pikes Peak earlier in the day on the cog train, and they told us he probably wouldn't see any bears because it was October and they were supposedly hibernating.
and it's a very heavily traveled area by people. So I'm sure the animals weren't there, but it's still scary at night. Your brain isn't making
No.
But also, I was like, is this one of those situations where it's a trap for us? Oh, someone pretends to be lost, they get you out where you're unsuspecting, and then you guys get grabbed. So all of these mental gymnastics.
So I kind of kept talking to her the whole time, like one, I wanted to kind of obviously to get to know her, like who were helping out. But two, I was really trying to gauge, like, is this person like maybe a threat? I mean, she'd never gave off that energy.
No.
And obviously she wasn't. We're sitting here.
Yeah, we survived. And eventually we found her car, and she was nice and offered to drive us to our car, which at that point I'm like, yes, let's go.
Cold by that point, and it was pitch black.
But I did ask her, I was like, do you normally travel by yourself? And she was like, no, I'm on a business trip, so I just wanted to see the sights really fast. I'm like, okay, well, maybe put some GPS or leave some breadcrumbs, because that could have been really bad.
Yeah.
I thought about calling the park ranger, but I was like, that's probably going to be a big fine that I'm not.
I don't know. At that point, like,
I know.
I wasn't really worried about that. I was more worried about our safety.
Yeah.
And we were also, my cousin was trying to call, he was trying to like confirm, the time and place we were going to meet him. And like, I had no service either. So like he kept cutting in and out. And like, I think I finally had to text him and just tell him, hey, here's kind of what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we were like, 2 hours late?
Yeah.
Very late evening for sure.
It all worked out, but it was definitely quite the adventure.
Yeah. I would say though, real quick, I think the final kicker, so she dropped us off at our car with Pepper, and we had offered, to be the lead car to leave, to get back to the entrance, because we got lost. Like, we made one wrong turn like the night before, I think. And we were pretty confident in, getting out of there. But she said no, and, that's totally fine. I was like, yeah, you're driving like a rental BMW, like a newer car. Like, this thing has GPS, I would just like put your hotel in, or like use your phone. So we're following her out, and then it kind of comes to like a split in the road. Either you keep going straight, which was, going downhill, or you take a left, and it looked kind of like you were going back up the mountain. So we see her just, keep going straight, going downhill, which was not agreeing with your GPS. So I was like, okay, pull over, because I guess, maybe we weren't that confident in how we traveled the night before, but we stopped just to make sure, and it turned out we were going the right way.
Yeah, so she was honestly
really bad for her, because
we told her to follow us, and she like drove off before we could load up in our car. So I was like, okay, we've done as much as we can at this point, like,
I don't know about you guys, but if like 2 people had just helped me for like 2 hours, and then I see their like headlights disappear from my rearview mirror, I probably would have freaked out.
Yeah, for sure.
At that point,
but she was
at least she was in the car,
and it would only just take her around the mountain, and I'm pretty sure eventually she
would have gotten out. But man,
Yeah, that one was
Yeah.
crazy. And then our other vacation nightmare was
About a year ago too now, wasn't it?
yep, we went on our first trip together. We went to Omaha, and
Nebraska, yeah.
amazing city. I want to go back there so
It is.
sad. So it's only
fun.
a 2-hour drive from us, and we left Friday after work. And this was like my first trip, I think, where I was kind of like making all the plans and stuff, like reservation wise. And so we found this really cool Airbnb. It was a downtown loft above a bar, and it had a sauna in there, and it was like well priced, and it was just
Seemed like a really good deal.
so I signed up. I called to confirm, and they took the money out, and everything was good to go.
But we booked through, who did we book through?
Booking.com.
Booking. Never again.
Yes. And so we get there. I'd called to confirm twice because you'll find out after hearing more stories that if things can go wrong, they will go wrong. So I try to like do everything in my power to not let things go wrong. But we get there, and I call the owner of the Airbnb to check us in.
Like 30 minutes away. We called him, when we were like 30 minutes.
Yeah, so he could
We
just
kind of check in. Yeah.
And so we see him outside, and we walk up to him, and he said something about kids. He was like, "Did you leave the kids?"
He was talking to another family
Oh,
at
yeah.
the time, but I recognized his voice because I heard him on the speakerphone in the car, when we were coming into town.
Yeah, he was going up to this random couple and was like, "Oh, are you
I
whoever?"
was trying to check them in. I think that was their room.
And and so we go up to him, and we're like, "No, I think you're checking us in."
No, though, this room was called the blackout room, though. I don't know if that would be a family room or not.
It was.
Oh, they had the timeless. They had the room we thought we had.
Yeah,
probably.
jumping the gun. But he brought us up into this room, and it had black sheets all over the couches. They had picture frames, but like a black curtain
Just, like,
over
black
the picture.
painted canvas.
It's a blackout room. And so I'm looking around, and I'm like, where's the sauna? And he's like, you didn't book that room. I'm like, yeah, I did.
We were like, we didn't book the sex dungeon.
Yeah. And he was like, oh, are you Andrew? And I'm like, no. He was like, oh, well, I double booked you. And I'm like, okay. Okay, sorry about that. We're still figuring out this camera thing. But the guy was like, oh, yeah, sorry, I double booked you. And so he was very nice, and he offered us another place to stay, but it wasn't quite ready. There was, he was like fixing it up to rent it out to be another unit for him. There was a mattress, but no sheets. They had no toiletries.
Yeah.
And in the sink was full of cigarette butts. So
It was very unfinished. Like,
Yeah.
It was clearly in the middle of, or maybe like towards the beginning, actually, of his third property in his portfolio.
and if we were in like really desperate need, like that would have been an option. But I was like, at that point, I'm like, let's just go home.
Yeah,
But-
it had some weird energy to it. Like,
Mhm.
it was going to be cool, when I'm sure it's probably done.
Yeah.
We should look it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was no way I was sleeping in there. Like, it seemed like an episode of like American Horror Story or something, or Supernatural,
For sure. And so I was freaking out. And Graham's like, well, let's just get a hotel. And so he like booked the hotel while I was trying to get my money back, because they did withdraw the money. And he did get a little snippy. And I was like, can I get like a confirmation that the refund is starting or something like that? And he was like, well, it's a Friday night, so your bank isn't going to get the money till Monday. And I'm like, yeah, I get that, but I need something because I might not see you again.
Yeah.
So I need to know that like I'm going to get my money back, because that was the whole trip. But I did get my refund, and we got in a hotel, and we had an absolute
struggle on its own too. Like, little did we know there were like state championships for, what was it again?
It was the state wrestling meet.
Wasn't there like a volleyball one too?
I think
like
so. There was 2 state meets happening in Omaha, and so all the hotels
were like full, completely full almost. Like, we found like one of like 2 rooms left, I feel.
Yeah. So
Which is kind of saying a lot. I mean, Omaha's a pretty decent sized city.
Yeah.
Sure. But
yeah.
yeah, it was, oh man. The parking garage incident was probably like the cherry on top. Like, it sent Dan, I think, like, he was already teetering.
Yeah, I
Sent him over the edge.
have anxiety, and
Same.
especially when it comes to money, I was just like, oh, all this money's gone, and now we're spending more money to get the hotel. And so I was just like very like high strung at that point. And now we're in a parking garage, which also gives me anxiety. It's just such
Tight. It was full, as we mentioned.
yeah. So I'm like
And
scooching around, and this parking garage has a dead end, which I've never seen that before. Usually they loop around.
it looped around until it got to the very top, and then it was U-shaped at the top.
And so I had to put it in reverse. And as soon as I did, there was snow covering my backup camera, and I just lost it. I'm like, who designed this thing? Why is this like this? And Grandma's like, do you want me to drive? I'm like, yeah, I'm over this at this point. I'm like, let's just go home.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised. Usually I'm the one that gets, goes a little over the edge maybe, or I don't know. I guess I'm a little more high strung.
Yeah.
I'm so like,
I'm pretty go with the flow, but this time I was not. Yeah.
I don't know. Depending on stuff that like inconveniences you, I wouldn't say I have like the highest tolerance to deal with that.
Yeah, I'm very much like in the mindset of like, it's already happened, like.
And that was, yeah, I think we're learning from each other.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm unfortunately rubbing off on you.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just like, it is what it is. You can either be upset about it or you can just move on and enjoy the trip. And you very much was the driving force to be like, well, we're here. Let's just have fun.
I didn't want to go home, man. Like, taking that Monday off, like, I was ready to, like, have an awesome weekend, and we'd never really traveled anywhere together before, except for, going home to visit your family.
Yeah.
Like 4 or 5 hours away. So.
Yeah, we had a blast. It was genuinely an awesome time.
Yeah, I never really, like, spent a ton of time in Omaha. I had taken a trip with a different friend a few years ago, and it was really more, she was, shooting a wedding for a friend, and then we had that all day, and then we went out to the bars that night, but I think by bars, we went to, like, one karaoke bar, and, and we got maybe a little bit too lit.
Yeah.
And I don't really remember a whole lot about that night, and kind of like not because of the drinking. It was just like we were tired too, and we were trying to. Well, we were napping. Actually, this is kind of a funny story. So we were in a hotel, like a Marriott or something really nice, and we were sleeping after the wedding. We thought, okay, like we're both like kind of old, so we're gonna take a power nap and then hit the bars. Well, then out of like nowhere, we were sleeping because we found out the hot tub was closed. We were going to go try to warm up. And out of nowhere, the fire alarm turned on in this hotel. It was just like blaring. And we were, freaked out. And we pretty much just got up. And I think I went outside in like nothing but my swimming trunks. And I think my friend had her swimsuit on too. And it was cold outside. And we were thinking, okay, like, we don't even have the car keys to, get in the car, you know what I mean? Like, are we really going to be, like, we were convinced we were going to get stuck in Omaha with, no clothes, no wallet. It seemed like a worst-case scenario, but there was no fire. I don't even remember what happened.
I don't think I've ever been evacuated from a hotel, but when I was in college, I lived in the dorm, and that was, supposedly something that happened a lot, is they pull fire alarms. And I think it only happened once or twice, which is very rare. But one thing that would always get us is we would sit in the hallway and talk because it was a big enough space for 5 or 6 people to just hang out. And our RA would always walk by and be like, you guys can't be in the hallway. What if there's a fire? And I'm like, oh, trust me, if there's a fire, I will not be in the hallway. I will be out of here. People will be able to get through this hallway because I will be out of there. It never made sense to me. And they would always be like, it's a fire code. He was okay if we all sat on the same side of the hallway, but we couldn't sit across from each other. It's very odd.
It is odd. Speaking of fire safety and fire protocols, how do you feel about how they always at least at my work, they're leave all your stuff. Just leave it. If the fire alarm's going off, you gotta exit. How do you feel about that? I feel for me, I would want to, get my essentials. You know what I mean? Throw my laptop Maybe not. Maybe I just leave it so it'd burn up.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, I don't know if there's anything at work that is essential. Like,
Yeah, I guess, I don't know, you're sea monkeys. Come on, man. You're going to live
there's
it
only
right.
like 3 sea monkeys left. For those of you who don't know, if you ever had the sea monkeys, I had them as a kid and I got them at my office and they are amazing. But there's only like 3 left now. So
do they, like, can they replenish
they're
themselves?
supposed to, but I don't know what is going on with
repopulate,
mine, guys.
I never had them, so I don't,
They're brine shrimp. But yes, a lot of them were pregnant and I don't know what happened to the babies. I even bought another packet of eggs and put them in there and then
didn't do anything.
I saw little ones and then they all disappeared again. So
There's a cannibal among the sea
probably.
monkeys.
But yeah, if there's a fire, I'm just like,
Rip.
let's just go.
Rip to the sea monkeys.
Yes.
And all your plants.
Yes, I'd be crushed about my plants, but I'm also not going to be the guy
Carrying
all plants coming out of there during a fire.
Yeah.
So laptop can go, my lava lamp can go.
I feel like most people, like, in my work would probably grab their computer. I don't know. Like, I don't know.
That's not me.
I'd at least be grabbing, my drip, like, any clothing there.
Most of my stuff is cloud-based anyway, so I want to be able to access whatever I needed. I mean,
True.
I don't know. That's just my thing.
Yeah, for sure.
So going back to these DNA results to wrap things up, I'm crushed. I'm absolutely crushed that she's not part Treewalker Coonhound.
I'm confused. I feel like if you look at her, she looks like she has the coloring and the spots, and I don't know. Dare I say her body looks more Treewalker Coonhound.
For it to not be in there
It's like a beagle, but
a cattle dog, I'm just like,
I know I can't see that, or boxer. I don't know.
And Mark, we're gonna have some words with you. I'm just like,
there's another provider out there, isn't there? Besides Embark.
oh yeah, there's
Yeah.
wow, it has dogs that are like,
Boomer. Oh.
they have like actual siblings of her.
Oh my god, that looks just like her, but it's only 15%.
It says as related as a human first cousins. That's pretty
Really?
close.
Okay.
That looks like,
So 15% is
oh
all.
my gosh, so they could be cousins.
Trevor's dog. Whoa. Okay.
This is pretty cool.
We need to upload a picture of Pepper.
Yeah.
Here. I know you guys can't see. Are we gonna show them like any of this?
Oh yeah, all of this
Yeah.
would be like on the screen. So if you're listening on like Apple Podcasts or Spotify, the video version is on YouTube at More Than Roommates. So
Yeah.
you're watching the YouTube version, the video file.
Yes.
I'm curious to see. Do you think more people?
We think we cute.
Yeah, we're lickers. Do you think more people will watch the YouTube or listen?
I don't know. I mean, you could also open it on YouTube and just listen, but I feel like for me, I listen to podcasts probably more so throughout the day versus watching. So I'm like a Spotify, like all in pretty much.
So for full transparency,
gang.
we're pre-recording several of these. So before we even released any of them, they'll all be recorded. So while we're doing this, we don't know.
We gotta see like
watching or how they're commenting. So
we gotta figure out how entertaining we are.
I know.
Like
So
how many we're gonna have a lot of episodes and we gotta brainstorm a little bit. I think.
But so please comment like what you want us to talk about, what you want our niche to be.
Yeah.
I just kind of want to talk about our relationship and stuff. I do think our topic for next episode is going to be pretty interesting. I don't want to give it away, but I think that is the one I think will be a very just an interesting discussion to provide some insight to. So that should be released the following day from when this comes out. We're gonna my hope is to have like an episode each day for the first week, just to give you guys some stuff to watch to get to know us, and then going forward we'll just do once a week. Because then we're not overwhelmed because
we're busy too.
And busy.
Yeah.
Getting ready for the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Kansas City Chiefs are playing. So it's very exciting. We're going to go watch it with a new group of friends that I've not hung out with.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I'm making some sourdough bread. Hopefully not everyone gets poisoned. That is my worst fear.
Yeah. Okay. No one's gotten sick off anything you've ever made.
Yeah, like true. But
I'm super OCD. Like that kitchen is spotless.
We're very clean people. Lots of washing.
It's just like I don't know, maybe the thought of sourdough, like I kind of understand I've got some picky family members, like like on my side, I guess I won't name any names
Yeah.
just to keep it nice, but like I kind of understand where they're coming from. Like it's like this yeast, I guess.
Yeah, so if you don't know how sourdough is
Yeah.
made, I know it only took 2 episodes for me to start talking about sourdough, but
Yeah, we're gonna
my
have to
friend
dedicate a
Amy,
whole podcast for that.
shout out to you. Yeah, if Amy comes up, she could be on the podcast.
Yeah.
She gave me the sourdough starter that was given to her by a friend, and you keep it and you feed it every day, or else it'll get moldy. And it's been around for years, this batch that I have, and it's supposed to add more flavor and stuff. And you add some of that starter when you bake the bread, and that's what gives it that sour,
Yeah.
acidic. It's really good. It's
Very
healthy.
interesting.
But what's crazy is it only lasts about 5 days once the bread is made before it gets moldy because there's no preservatives in it. And it really opened my eyes to like what is really in the food that we eat, that it doesn't go bad at all. Like the amount of preservatives that's in our food is
It's kind of been a necessity to some extent,
right to give it
because
some shelf
by the
life.
time, yeah, like it would never be purchased off, the grocery store shelves, like without
Yeah.
going bad.
I understand.
But
that.
yeah, no, I get it too. It is.
I'm like totally in, like, I want to be a homesteader at this point. I'm ready to quit my job and just grow food and get some cattle and get some pigs and goats. I'm like ready to give it all up. So once this podcast picks up and becomes our income, then I'll just become a farmer. That's the plan.
Yeah, you can be my sugar daddy.
No, you'll still have to work. You have to supplement me.
I love
just
my
being a
job.
farmer.
I love my job.
Oh, I love my job too, but
Yeah.
there's nothing better than just like being out on the farm all day. Us getting some property, some goats.
So yeah, we're gonna have to have a whole episode about our potential upcoming move and kind of like what we're both looking for, because we are definitely, I would say, like on the opposite side of the fence on kind of like how we envision like what we want maybe
Our aesthetics are very different.
but we both like really neat things, I think, that are like modern,
yeah, super modern,
in mid-century
modern. I'm
yeah,
like,
modern mid-century, probably like the updated,
yes.
classic.
Meanwhile, I want like a haunted, creepy, old house that like I'm scared to walk around in at night. Like that is my dream house,
And that's
with the old courtyard and a nice long driveway, privacy.
I think that would be very pretty to like stay somewhere like that, but
I'll just become like a recluse and just wander the hallways and become just Pepper and I will just like scare everyone. The neighborhood people won't want to come talk. There'll be rumors about us. That's what I want.
yeah. I like how I mentioned like our aesthetic. I don't know how much you guys can see, but we've got my old overstuffed blue couch, like sectional from my parents from like, I don't know, the late 90s.
I love these couches. He wants to get rid of them, and I'm like, these are staying forever. They're so comfortable.
And like we really don't need another set, and I've already written a huge check on this basement renovation.
This space that we're in now is going to be redone in a couple months. So actually I set all this stuff up for a podcast, but we're going to have to move it upstairs for a bit. But that'll be quite the I'm kind of dreading it. I don't want to do it.
I'm really excited.
I'm
like
nervous.
now that I know that, we're probably gonna have to relocate in like a year and a half. Like I'm excited for it to, kind of be done, add a little more value to the house. Like that awning shower. I'm so looking forward to that walk-in shower. Like,
we'll definitely.
I'm really sad that we're gonna be moving too, but I put a lot of heart and soul in this place. And
so this is Graham's house. He's had it for
it'll be 7 years.
Wow, which is a good amount of time for your first home. But yeah, his work is relocating, so we'll be moving it in a year or so.
Luckily not too far away.
No, but I'm excited to try like living in a new city and all of that. But yeah, all the stuff that comes along with house hunting is stressful.
Yeah, and the market, interest rates, like nothing is looking good right now. So I know it's winter. I feel like most people probably like to sell in like the spring, or like when everything's kind of pretty and, starting to blossom. So it could just be, the time of year is not right to be looking, but we've seen some good houses. We've seen some that look good, but actually were like kind of like garbage. They were just decorated really well.
We have this one friend.
Yeah.
She is an MVP. She's lives where we will be moving, and so she's keeping us in the loop of whenever we see a house, and she tells us about the area.
And she surprised us.
And she we sent her this listing. Keep in mind, we know we're not moving for a while.
Yeah.
The houses we're looking at are
Just looking to get acquainted with
the area.
How like eye bulging can my eyes?
Yeah, and we sent her this house, and then like a couple hours later, she FaceTimed us, and she was at the open house of
with
the house
with her husband and son.
Yeah.
Like,
I just wanted to look at it.
Yeah.
It was nothing like the pictures. I cannot believe how different it was. Like the pictures made it seem very aesthetic.
Oh,
and
they had amazing furniture. Like I almost wonder if they staged it to, have a quick sale. I don't know. But
I don't know.
It looks like they were living there, but
Yeah.
there was none of that when our friend went to tour.
And it's not to say that we know the furniture doesn't make the whole, but it was very dirty and like
Yeah.
small rooms and just not what the picture
Weird.
made it look.
Yeah, like
Yes.
interesting. So saved us a trip, even though, we weren't going to drive up there for that. Like,
Yeah.
the time's not right. All right.
Yeah, but it was awesome. We know that she's going to be keeping an eye out.
Yeah. She's fun.
So be ready for more house content.
Yep.
I think that might do it for this episode. Again, please, I guess we're very self-conscious about people watching this. So make sure that you comment what you want us to talk about.
Yeah.
And going forward, and let us know how we're doing. If it's positive, if it's negative, just
we promise we'll delve into more of the gay stuff.
yeah. I do want to talk about the relationship and stuff. And you know what's coming up? Valentine's Day. We should do a Valentine's Day episode.
That'd be fun.
But yeah, so please, subscribe, comment, let us know how we're doing, share this, follow, all that good stuff. More Than Roommates. And we'll see you next time.
See ya.
Peace.